We think we're going to close the end of the year at about 27 million, and we're projecting to double that number through next year. And hopefully, if the recovery is going to evidence itself the way we think it will, we'll be back to full strength maybe towards the end of 23 or 24. Really depends on the shape of the recovery. I think in terms of new variants, we've got past the point now where we can rely on overarching government controls, and I think everyone now has to take personal responsibility for ensuring they keep themselves and the rest of the population safe. So all of the guidelines we're applying at the airport, mask wearing, physical distancing between people, just making sure the place is completely hygienic, PCR testing on arrival, all of those measures will continue to operate for as long as we have to keep everyone safe and also to keep the mobility of the planet recovering from this rather extended period of lockdown.
Are you encouraged by the recent moves that we've seen to lift restrictions, the UK in particular opening up air travel routes to the UAE for fully vaccinated travellers? Do you welcome the end to this traffic light system that's been in place and the easing of restrictions?
Absolutely. The UK is, of course, one of our most important origin and destination markets, and the UAE and the UK have long had very, very close ties socially, economically, and we are really looking forward to that happening. 4th of October, I think, is when the restrictions will lift. The UAE is currently resolving a small administrative issue to be amongst those nations that will benefit from the scrapping of the traffic light system. So that is a very, very welcome sign that we're well on the road to recovery.
Help me understand this administrative issue in a little more detail, because as it stands, Britain only recognises vaccines administered in Europe and the United States. When are we going to see the UK accepting overseas vaccines?
Well, that is part of the deal that comes into force on the 4th of October. And that requires the compliance of a number of systems across different countries. And as you'll be aware, Dan, the actual standards haven't been applied universally. So obviously, it's going to take a little while, a few more days, to get all of those systems in sync with each other. And that's the issue that's being worked on at the moment. We expect an announcement in a matter of a few days that will be fully compliant and able to participate in the new vaccination passport system, which comes into effect on the 4th of October.
And will all vaccines be accepted? Some concern here that perhaps Sinopharm might not make the cut.
So far, they've announced that Pfizer, AstraZeneca and Moderna are the 3 vaccines that will be accepted. Whether there'll be any more remains to be seen, but those are the 3 that have been confirmed as acceptable for the exemption from UK quarantine for fully vaccinated travellers, irrespective of where the vaccine has been administered.